That's cool.
Yeah.
What is up, dude?
Yeah, and then just cool, and it's good to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you did a roast battle the other day.
I did do a roast battle, yeah. That was a cathartic experience.
How so?
This was unique. You know, when I first got here, I saw a roast battle. The energy around it is a lot of fun, especially at like the creek and the cave. And I don't know, I started figuring out how I could get on. I was so new into comedy. And I began to figure it out. And then, you know, insults, you kind of pick an idea about a person, and then you kind of roast that. And I think this is really like a judgment of character assessment, like what kind of characters people see other people as. And, you know, I think the better people at it, their jokes can kind of land with more and stuff like that, more people.
Who are you up against? Taylor Neely?
I did Scott Fillmore.
Scott Fillmore.
Recently. And
Okay.
Shout out Scott.
Yeah.
Shout him out.
Shout out Scott Fillmore.
Yeah. Shout out Scott. Shout out Pookie too. Like while we're doing shout outs, just shout out Pookie. He's serving 9 right now.
Okay, Pookie.
You know, he's halfway through a 9 stretch. You know. Shout out my uncle.
Yeah.
I hate how like black people just like ruin a good thing with shout outs. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, white people do it too. I've seen a lot of people, white people shouting out. They don't say the shout out though. They just go like, also, and then they do the point. But black people will be like, shout out, shout out, shout out.
Shout out, yeah. That's how we communicate. It's white people's, yeah, you know, and let's big up to Todd or whatever, but shout out. So,
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm always scared of roasts. I feel like it would be intimidating for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Some people seem to be excited about them, and I'm always like, I don't know. I think I would be bad at that. I don't know.
Well, you're not good at being mean. I mean, you sound like you can be mean.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can be mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I could be mean. I just don't know. I don't know.
Like piercingly mean. I think you can be piercingly mean.
You think so?
Not like fucking, you gave me 67 cents back on this and it's supposed to be 80. Like, I see like, this is why your dad hates you. Like,
yeah?
you wouldn't just seeing that on somebody.
Why do you think I have that?
Because because your voice, dude, like your voice, although it sounds like pleasant and professional, there's like a slight nasaliness to it that I think has to be a part of your personality.
Dang. I think I could be pretty mean if I wanted to be, but I don't. I mean, I don't want to be. I think most people would say that I'm pretty nice, but if it comes down to like, it's time to get crazy, sometimes I can get a little crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Go ahead.
No. I mean, I just don't know if I could do. I don't know. I'm always worried, like in a roast battle, that I'm going to say something that's just too far. And then people are like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about is people being like, yo, what the fuck was that shit?
Yeah. Now, when you said I don't think I could do, I was like, this doesn't make sense. But then you're like, I just think I'd go too far. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe that's exactly why you're right. Is because you're like, you're worried. You're not worried about their feelings. You're worried about your image. You're going to shatter it because you're going to say some crazy shit. And people are going to be like, yo, what the fuck was that?
There's no level of crazy in roast battle, at least roast battle Austin. Like incoherence, that is the shade of crazy that'll exist. But it's like maybe I really think it's just like a social compatibility test. Like you're really just assessing how good somebody is socially. Like the people that I've seen bomb bad are women who rarely understand social context based on the social context that they grew up in. So this doesn't
social context meaning being able to tread the line between it's funny but also it's accurate. You know what I mean?
Funny, accurate, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas some people are just not able to hit that line.
Well, we call it autism, but it's women. It's guys that can't get laid.
Yeah.
And I'm joking because it's different. It's just based on how society treats you. You kind of learn how to be treated, how to treat other people.
Right.
And it's like, nigga, if your dad was just like a little bit weird and like your mom's just like a little bit mouthy, then it's like, where are you even learning how to like connect with other people? Like if you're lucky and you find some people when you're younger, or maybe sports, but it's like then you have to excel, and so it's not always that easy.
Yeah. Do you think that's where you excelled? Did you do sports, or did you connect with people when you were younger? Because you moved here, you're alone now. I mean, it sounds like.
Thank you.
Not like. That was crazy.
You're talking a lot of shit, but you're alone now. Dude,
I mean, you moved here from Atlanta, and it sounded like. All right. Shit, maybe you're right. Maybe I am mean.
Yeah, I think so. You should do roast battle. You're alone now.
Brian's alone and has no friends.
I love it, dude. Yeah, and you got a dog, so it's like, all right, I guess you're not alone.
No, I mean, I only got a dog because I was alone. I was like, shit, dude, I got to get something in this house other than just my thoughts. So I got a fucking dog. But I was telling someone this the other day, like I was going to get a cat because I always grew up with cats. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I can't be in my 30s alone with a cat. It's just...
You think that's weird?
I think it's a little weird. I don't know. It's not gay. It's not... It's just like, what am I doing, I'm in my 30s and I got cats. Like, what the fuck is happening? But...
I don't know. Cats is... What if I took the argument? Cats is a younger man or an older man's game. Like, dogs is a young man's game.
True.
Like, because they're running... And you don't really give a fuck about people's personality.
I think that's accurate. A cat is definitely for older people.
Here's the counter, right? So what if it's, yes, they sort of suit the lifestyle of older people, but that's actually why they should be with the opposite person.
Yeah, because I think it teaches you something.
Yeah.
It's like it's a yin and yang. I get it. Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted a dog. I was like, I think it would be good for me to be like, go out, walk with the dog, do things that a dog wants to do. It would be good to have that balance. But then the criticism is that my dog is like the most cat-like dog ever. Like she doesn't bark. She doesn't go out. She hangs out under furniture. Like she's a fucking cat.
Yeah.
But yeah. Would you get cats?
Yeah, I like cats. I don't like the obligation of dogs.
Yeah.
Where it's like, whenever someone wants to like elicit an emotional response from me, I do not like that. Like if you're trying to pull something out of me, I'm actually looking at you like in attack mode. It's really survival mode. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I think that's because I'm immediately like, why the fuck you want to give me something, dog? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean free? What the fuck are you talking about? What's the catch? Like, because it's like I didn't get shit like growing up. Like my parents didn't want to do anything for me. I'm like, where's this bullshit coming from, man? This nigga just trying to give away shit at like Costco, like fucking teriyaki chicken. What the fuck's up with this teriyaki chicken, nigga? What you got here? You got a vaccine or some shit? You don't know me.
So funny to get a free coupon, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
You think I'm poor? You think I'm alone and a poor?
You're getting mad at unconditional love just being given to you. You're like, "What the fuck?"
What you mean, good morning, nigga?
What you mean?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, but I'm the same way. I think I'm the exact same way. Like when I remember going to the pound to get my dog, and I looked at all the dogs in the pound, and a bunch of them were up on the fence, and they were happy to see me. And I'm like, why are you happy to see me? You should be annoyed that I'm here. You should be terrified of me, It didn't make any sense to me. And then I got to this dog, and she was like, ew, get away. And I was like, this is what I want. That's perfect.
This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Ugh, that's fucking hilarious. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's hard, you know, and it's easy to kind of reject the things that come easy, especially, you know, when I think a large perspective, at least of mine and maybe societally, is that like life is supposed to be hard. And so it's like, what is this easy? What is this? Like, be wary of easy and stuff like that.
But sometimes easy happens.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes you just get a layup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you just need to be like, all right, I guess I got lucky today.
Nigga, tell me if this is right or wrong, because I think I know, you know, based on what happened. I went to Skankfest last year. Nigga, I had. Can we say nigga on the podcast?
Yeah.
I know.
You're fine.
I know.
I don't think I could.
Nigga. Yeah, right. It's so weird for me to. Can I say it? Like, fuck yeah, I can say it. Dude.
Do what you want, man.
You bleep it out. But yeah, that's funny. It's like slaves wondering if they can say it too. Master gets to say it. But anyways, it was a Skankfest, and I had I was able to go out to Skankfest. I'm 6 months into comedy.
Oh wow!
Wildly successful, but 6 months into comedy, and unfortunately, you know, I'm not in Skankfest. But I wanted to go out there because I've been on stages with most of the people that I've already on the lineup, and so I wanted to go out there to Skankfest and do my stuff, and I got $4 in my bank account. I managed to get out to Skankfest. I have $4 for like a week.
Dang.
That's it.
Where'd you get food?
I didn't at the time.
Oh, dang.
I didn't want it. I wasn't there. I was thinking about comedy. It was like, I'm sure I'll get food. I don't know what I'll be eating. I don't know how I'll do it, but there'll be food. There'll be snacks and shit. And so I just wanted to get on a festival and like do the stuff. But I have $4 in my bank account, and it, you know, it really hits you. And it is, when you're hungry, that's like a reminder.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
life's fine or whatever without it, but that's when it kind of hits you. And so I have $4 in my account, and I didn't know how I was going to get money. I thought I was supposed to be there, and so I was like, it'll work out one way. I'm kind of meditating on it, you know, praying on it, in whatever context I do or you do. And I think I managed to make it to the first night. And making it to the first night was like, whoof. Like I made it the first night, and the second night, all of the shows and stuff are done. I had been running around. It's been great, you know. I was in a lot of great rooms and stuff like that. And then it was like 3 a.m. And I was like, I'm gonna go back to the hotel by myself. And so I go back to the hotel. I get to the elevators. Guy checks my ID. And it's another black guy. He's like, come on. And so I get there, and then I get on the hotel. So then there's this hot girl getting on the hotel.
Yeah.
Getting on the elevator. And I don't know where this elevator's going. I don't know what way, but I was like, this seems like a good elevator to get on.
Right.
You know, so I get on the elevator, and it's the only one. So there's no creepy, this is the only elevator. I'm just going to see what this hot girl. And she's trashed, and I'm not. And she just goes, hey, how you doing? You know, and it's like, whatever. And she's like, I can't seem to get into my room. Can you help me? And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll fucking. She's like, yeah, I can't get. And I was like, yeah, what do you want me to do? And she's like, yeah, swipe my card, and this is my thing. And I'm like, now you're consenting to all this. It's not me. Because this seems weird. Now it seems like I followed her into the elevator. Somehow I have a room key.
No, I mean, it sounds like you're operating your life on intuition, and so far it's working.
It's going well. It's going well. And so she pulls my cock out. She starts blowing me. No, it's
God.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I was like, yo.
Yeah, no. She asked me to hold on to her card, so I'm doing it. And then she's like, I'm trying to find something out, like another key. I think the key wasn't working. And so she's like, here. And so she starts emptying her purse out. She is shit-faced. Like, I tried to talk to her, like, I was like, you understand, like, I'm just a random person.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is the key to your room.
Yeah.
And she's like, meh. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then she's like, here. And she just starts handing me money. She has a purse full of cash, piles of money, and she's handing it to me as she looks through her purse.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not even that I want to be a criminal, but when you have $4 in your bank account and you start seeing 20s and shit, like a rogue 100, like it starts
That's a
looking
quadruple
different.
to your net worth.
Dude, yeah. I'm a new man with the 5.
Yeah, this changes everything. That's understandable. So you took a 20?
I
took a couple 20s?
She must have handed me, I say must have, like I don't have the exact calculation. She must have handed me about $287. Oof. Like I'm counting all of it ones. My brain is like, brrr, and it's all in my hand. And she has her head neck deep in her purse. She's not even looking at the money. And there's a clean 120, just 6 20s, all crumbled up that I really don't think she noticed when she pulled out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know I could just take this.
Yeah.
And the whole day I was like, if I could just get $100, I'm sad.
Yeah.
And somebody hands me $100, $200, fucking $300.
It's right there.
And fucking, I go, it might mean I'm gonna get her money back. I'm gonna give her back in.
So you gave it back to her?
I gave her back every penny.
But that's good. That's a good story. That's amazing. You stuck up to morality, but I mean, you were probably hungry as fuck though the rest of the day, right?
Why is that good?
I think that's a solid ending. I think most people would be like, hell yeah, dude.
Why? But hell yeah, and then what?
And then
Are they gonna give me $120?
No, yeah.
If she called me nigger, then apparently that could have gone viral, and I could have got $120.
Maybe.
I could have got $1 million if
Maybe.
that happened. Maybe, right? Somebody's got to see it.
I think if you took 50, I would have been like, all right.
You think everybody would have been like, that's okay?
I think if the world saw this situation and they were examining it under an eyeglass, they would say, here's a dumb bitch who's drunk and is not taking care of herself. So maybe she deserves to get robbed.
Now she deserves to get
robbed?
robbed?
Possibly.
To trust a trustworthy person.
You can't trust anybody. You can't, I mean, that's on her. She's drunk and she's being an idiot.
It's on her, but who am I to be? So this is the thing. I try and be a trustworthy person.
Right.
At least play the facade of it.
And you were successful. It looks like you did a good job.
But she approached me, as a trustworthy person. She happened to have approached the best guy in Vegas for this.
Yeah.
Should I have betrayed the trust or what? Because there's an argument. You approach the best guy in Vegas to hand $287, and I'm docking you $50 for the vig for fucking doing it. But it's like, do I betray the idea of a trustworthy person? Of course, I can't trust anybody, but I'm supposed to be the difference. So, am I supposed to betray that trust?
I think, man, it's a tough situation. It's tough because I think anybody would agree you did the right thing. Most people would agree. Do you not agree? Your face says no. You don't think that most people would agree? If we showed everybody in the world that scenario,
we're gonna put a poll up right here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see, but would they agree? What does that mean? I'm broke, nigga. Like, if I take nothing, everybody applauds that, and I get nothing.
Right.
If I take 50, everybody goes, well, I guess, yeah, that's okay. And then you try and reason it away. She's drunk. She went to Vegas and got drunk. She should know better. That's what she's supposed to do in Vegas.
That could be an argument. You could make that argument.
That's a false argument, irrespective of my role within it. You know, at least to this extent. What's she got to be, like fucking Harvey Weinstein for me to fucking... Because just a girl that's drunk doesn't seem like the line to where I should take advantage of her. Now, if that's society's line,
that's true.
Anybody that thought that taking $50 was okay, just remember you thought that it was okay to take advantage of a drunk girl. And that's not, it doesn't have to be a personal opinion.
Right.
It can be a societal opinion that has influenced you.
Right.
But that's the thought there.
That is the thought. But I think but drunk girl makes it sound so much more innocent. It's drunk person. When you say drunk girl, it's like, geez, I'm not, gonna rape the chick. I'm just saying, look, here you are, hungry, and she's being ridiculous on the floor. Like, that's the only way to describe it. She's being absurd. Like, this is clearly, she's being irresponsible.
She shouldn't have handed me the money.
She shouldn't have handed you the money. Now, in a world where you told me, yeah, I took $50 and I went to go eat, I would have been like, I get it. I would have been like, I get it. I would have. I would have said, I get it. But you didn't. So now I'm applauding you. If you took the full 230 and you ran, I would have been like, that's kind of crazy. I would.
Really? That's crazy?
I think maybe not that crazy.
She got 280 and she just handed it to me.
Yeah.
Like, and again, this is the person that has 280 to hand around.
Yeah.
Nigga, that $4 I had, I knew where every single one of them dollars was. There was no loose, where did this go? How did this get here? And shit like that. I was on top of my shit.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
She just lost track of that shit.
Holy shit.
So go ahead, yeah.
No, because it's true. It implies that she has other money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got other money, clearly, if she could just be fucking fumbling it around and shit like that.
Like it meant nothing to her.
It meant, if you look at the scale of what it meant to me, it's like a dwarf star or some shit like that. And what it meant to her is like a fucking light at IKEA, like at least at the time.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I felt. And so this is the thing. I prayed on it. I meditated on it. This is what it is. You know, I think the idea of it is it's prayer and meditation, at least when with a focused intent. It's not, hey, you think if something happens, maybe this thing could work out for me or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's, this is what I want to happen.
Yeah.
And so, God, let's make a way for it to happen.
And did it manifest?
Nigga, I walked into a hotel room, past security, into an elevator, alone with a girl who put $287 in my hand.
So you think that was the meditation handing it to you? You think that was that thing that you were looking for? That was the manifestation and you let it go?
Nigga,
is that what you think?
In what other point in life has somebody walked up to you, displayed clear levels of, I don't give a shit what happens next, and then put $300 directly into your hands?
Yeah. But you still felt weird about it. You had an ick. You were like, I can't do this. There was something in you that was like, but this isn't right. But you resent that feeling, it sounds like.
Is that, so who is that? Is that the man? Is that the person bound by society's ideas of what a man's supposed to be? Or is that who the fuck I am on the inside?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying, is that feeling a weakness or is it a strength, basically?
You said every single person would applaud me for not taking that money.
I think they would.
I think if every single person in society is on board and would applaud that idea of good without having thinking about it, not having thinking it out.
Yeah.
Is that fucking who we are, or is that who society says we're supposed to be?
Ooh.
what's the point of meditating if I'm not going to move beyond something within the normal constraints?
How about this? Fuck society, fuck everything. At the end of the day, it didn't feel right.
Nigga,
That's
feel
all that
like,
matters.
I feel like shit now, dog.
But in that moment, you knew this is wrong.
No, I did not. Honestly.
Then why'd you give it back?
Because I thought this is wrong. But I didn't know it because the other part of this is saying, nigga, I asked for this. I believe in God. I believe in this stuff and I asked for it. And it makes more sense for God to have somehow made this shit. Nigga, ain't nobody ever handed me $300 for nothing.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for a God to have heard what I asked for and handed it to me on that elevator than for fucking some idea of good or me or some shit, some test of right and wrong to have. Nigga, this is what I wanted. This is what I intimately asked for, and it makes more sense for it to be.
Let me ask you
God
this: how'd the rest of that trip go? Did you find other money? Did you get food in other ways? Was the trip good?
The trip was great. Well, the trip was. I didn't get to do comedy during Skankfest. The trip was great outside of that.
Okay.
I didn't get to do a set. The trip was amazing.
Then I think it all worked out, right? I mean, I think if the trip was good and you were happy and you look back and you think I did a good thing, then I think that was a moment where you were tempted. If you believe in God, you were tempted. And then you had a point where you were like, this does not feel right. And then you gave it back. I think that's a win, dude. I think it's a total win. But you're struggling now with, was that me being weak in denying an easy way of getting what I wanted? But you got what you wanted. You got a good trip at Skankfest.
That sounds like you. So you're saying, I got it. It worked out. I had a good time at Skankfest.
Worked out.
So that sounds like a good experience, a good life.
I think so.
So what is the difference between living a good life and living this idea of your best life? Because good is good.
I think good, man, that's a good question. I think good is good, and I think you had an idea of an excellent life, and you said the risk is too high. Maybe not even risk is it? Think about the things that could have gone wrong, You take that money, she'd be like, hey, who the hell, what are you? She calls some security. So many things could have gone wrong in that moment, but you're only thinking about the perfect scenario where you just walk around with the extra $300. That's the only thing that you're thinking of. You're not thinking about everything that could have gone wrong after that, right?
120 and in a sea of 200 ones, $120, 6-piece stuck together on a girl incoherent.
Mm-hmm.
That don't really go wrong.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think there could have been things that go wrong from there.
Didn't even consider it.
But you didn't even consider that you would be in that situation in the first place, did you?
But yet, I kind of did.
Because you manifested it.
Because, man, woman. No, I'm joking. When you got to get shit done, you manifest it.
Yeah.
Bitches know that. You can do whatever. You can say whatever you want, but when you really need something done, you manifest it. You don't non-binary infest it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, manifest it. It's what I asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the idea. It's like, yeah, because we inherently go to this idea of, well, if you're taking the money, then something could have gone wrong. As if there's only a finite amount of good that can exist for a certain person, a certain period of time, or a certain place. And that's not the case. I could catch 280 and then catch a heater. Be known as the man in Vegas forever. Now, obviously, that's not really going to happen, but 280. I mean, this is, and then it's just like, did I just shun what I practiced? Did I just let my, like a societal influence or pressure that may or may not be a part of my life.
What's interesting to me is that you're saying it's society. I think that's very interesting. A societal pressure. Because to me, I don't think it's a societal pressure. I think it's a moral pressure. And that comes from within you.
Yeah, I think morals are supposed to come from within us, but I don't think they do.
You don't think so? You don't think if a caveman was stealing from another caveman, he would feel kind of bad? No society? Nothing? He'd be like, oh, it feels kind of bad to just take this guy's food.
No society?
No society.
So I'm a caveman. I've been caving around for cave-teen years.
You're caving it up, and then you run across another caveman, and he's got a family, and he's got food, and you think, I could just take all of that food.
He's got enough food for a family.
He's got enough food, and you take some of the food, and you don't think that you would feel bad seeing him and seeing him in you, and like, you guys are one and the same, basically. You don't think you would feel bad taking that guy's food?
I get what you're saying, but context is interesting, because it's like, if I've been living my life as a solo caveman, what the fuck is this besides an enemy? You know, I don't. Do I even know what I look like? Like, and I mean, I'm serious. Like, I know, like there's a like a figurative parallel for, do I actually know my own reflection, and will I be able to discern that from those that look like me when being put in that opportunity or in that position?
I don't think your own reflection really matters. I think that empathy is even a dog shows empathy. Like, a dog feels bad. It's like it's not society. It's something in all of us. We all have a little bit of like empathy.
Go ahead.
If you're a caveman and you're stealing, if you had to kill the other caveman, you would feel a little bad killing that other caveman, right?
Sure. Would I not feel bad killing a deer?
I think you would.
So then what's the difference?
Well, the difference is sometimes you got to eat. And that's where that $50 comes in.
And that's why it's like, do I really, if I feel bad all the time, or I feel bad for whatever, does that exist? Is that actually part of the equation, or did it get canceled out already?
Right. And sometimes someone can be so deep into that, like, look, sometimes I just got to look after myself. If the situation is that extreme, then you say, fuck my morality. I have to do what I have to do to eat.
Sure.
Right? Right. But I think in that situation, you were like, I'm just not there yet, and I still want to be a good person.
Dog. Again, no, I'm serious about this. Good is not real. Like, it's not a thing. Like, it's made up. There's my morals. Like, it's not my own thing. We want it to be, but it's not determined by that.
I agree with you.
It's determined by where perspective is, like, and to even be able to develop a moral basis.
Right. But I think good is totally subjective. It's all within the perspective of human beings. If you're not looking in the perspective of human beings, there is no good or bad. Is that what you're saying?
You're saying good is, within the perspective of human beings.
Because for human beings, we have pain and we have happiness. So anything that's good is something that's on the spectrum of happiness. And anything that's bad is on the spectrum of pain. But if you don't have pain or happiness, then it's like, what does it matter? There is no good or bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because our feelings are real, we do believe in a good or bad, because one leads to happiness and one leads to pain. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I get, in a rudimentary version.
Yeah.
But that's a false, it's a false something, equivalency, a presumption or whatever. Just because something is bad, something feels bad, doesn't mean that it wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because something feels good doesn't mean it wasn't bad.
That's true.
Especially.
That's true. Like medicine or something.
Yeah.
May not go down well.
Robitussin,
Robitussin.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do think you're kind of right, though. There are some things where it's like, it just kind of is. It's not good or bad. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't know where that falls, like, especially in that shit. Because again, people think it's like, why was that the right thing to do? Like, especially when you take the idea of like, at least if you're gonna look at things, well, depending on your spiritual perspective, it's like, is there anything more important in life than my connection with God? Like, does any person stand up to that?
Do you go to church?
No, I don't.
Would you grow up like Baptist or Catholic or something? Baptist. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not very religious.
No, me neither.
Really?
No.
You talked about your connection with God already like 3 times.
Yeah, me. Yeah, mine. not the church's connection. You know, my connection with God.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this. I only had $4. I didn't have enough money to really hire a middleman.
Right.
Tithes and offering, I would have been sweating, dog.
That's interesting.
Nigga, looking at that plate every day, gotta be like, am I gonna fucking take this money or not?
I love how much this possessed you to the point where you're still thinking about it. Like, what the fuck happened there?
It's so much bigger than the money. That's what it is. Obviously, I made it out. You know, and me not accepting the money was accepting the fact that I do believe I will make it out of Las Vegas, at least not having starved to death. You know
what's interesting about your story is that there's also an element of lust.
Oh, for money or the girl?
For the girl.
What?
Yeah. Because you got in that elevator because she was hot. You know what I mean? And if we're talking about God, I'm talking sins now. You showed greed and lust.
You think I got on the elevator to fuck that girl?
I think you got on the elevator because she's an attractive girl. And I think I have done the exact same thing. Every man has been like, oh, an attractive girl, let me just be in her proximity. That's happened to everybody.
Very interesting. Good strategy by man.
Strategy.
Very good. If I could just be around.
Stand around her. And then maybe by osmosis, something will happen.
I will get pussy juice by osmosis. I understand.
I was working on a bit like this. I did a video on it. And it was like, if I could just, like, I do this thing sometimes where I literally will just stand around a girl and I'm too scared to approach her. But then I'll see another guy doing the same thing. And I'm like, damn it, this motherfucker's on my ground. And we're both just standing next to this girl. And then eventually he tapped her and they started talking. And I was like, fuck, that dude's cheating. That was kind of the bit, but it doesn't really, I don't know. Like, I think it'd be better.
Air Bud, right? Like she was supposed to approach you, right? Like,
yeah.
Whoever she approached,
But she didn't. She never did.
That's girl. That's girl for you.
Yeah. But that's what you did. You were just, being a guy. You were like, oh, okay, hot girl.
Great way to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But
literally.
I literally. But that's why when I walked in, the elevator place is I think it's 6 or 9, semi-cube or whatever. It's just 3 sides and 3 elevators on each side. I pushed the up button. I saw her and I pushed the up button to see if another elevator was coming. It didn't. Like, believe me, I'm fully aware of...
Who are you trying to convince here, Brian?
I'm not trying to convince anybody. Nigga, I need to cover my grounds for any basis, too. Because, one, if I go and I push the elevator and then it's like, all right, well, I got to go into this elevator.
Yeah.
And I don't want to... I don't want to look like I'm stalking after somebody.
No, you weren't.
I'm sober is the thing.
You're fine.
This is what sucks for me.
And I'm not calling you out for that. I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
You call it lust, but check it. That's what caught my eye. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's like, then you obviously, then it's like, you heard me describe the story.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm trying to take advantage of anybody.
No, of course not.
Sexually or monetarily.
Of course not.
But it's ironic that I would have been open to a sexual random happenstance, but for some reason, for the fucking thing I was actually focused on and asking for, when that random circumstance
I think sexual would have been more mutual.
Why is... you don't know I have sex. But
oh, you're mistaken. That's hilarious. No, because if she like you made a joke, if she whipped her dick out and she was like, all right, let's do this, that's her initiating, let's do this. Now, fiscally or monetarily, if she said, here's $200, take this money, that's she didn't do that.
What she did say, here's $200.
Yeah, but you knew that didn't mean take my 200. It meant hold on to this.
Nigga, this is the thing too. If she put her titty in my hand, and didn't tell me, that means take this titty. It means take this pussy, dog.
But that's, again, sexual versus monetarily.
It's her thing. And that her thing that she should know better and have control over it because she's aware of its impact on society. Pussy and money is interchangeable.
Okay.
If she put her titty in my hand, I'm supposed to take this pussy.
Yeah.
She put her money in my hand, and she knows that that's money. Her money, supposedly.
I don't know. I don't know if I can see that bridge.
Donald Trump, let me know. Should I have grabbed this pussy of money when it was put into my hand?
I think when she put the money in your hand, she was being extremely stupid, thinking that you would just hold on to that money.
She
didn't know that you would possibly rob her. That wasn't even on her mind.
No.
You don't think so?
I think that now we're undermining women to rationalize the situation. We're taking a stereotype, a subjective idea about women to rationalize something that needs a little more proof than that. She's dumb is an excuse for anything that happens to a woman. But I don't think women are dumb.
Right.
So I'm not just going to take she was that stupid to not know money.
Maybe not stupid, but drunk.
Money.
Right. That was pretty dumb, though. Was pretty stupid.
It was so stupid.
Oh, man. What else? This is interesting, but we should get. Actually, this is what I actually want to talk to you about, because we did talk about this the other day with girls versus masturbation, and I wanted to get back on that topic.
I don't recall this.
You don't recall? And basically, the argument was: is masturbation wrong?
You talking about those dildos?
You think dildos are wrong?
Yeah, I do. Dildos, yeah.
You think so? Why?
I don't know what side I took last time, so I hope I'm consistent.
You're being consistent, yes.
But, dog, that's a lot of extra shit. It's not a personal thing. A dildo might as well be getting another person involved, dog. Like, that's another thing. And especially, you know that Svetlana girl or whatever, the Russian chick, the Kazakhstanian one.
Yeah.
She got some crazy shit. Like, it's not human. They're not human dicks.
Right.
Most of them are not within reason.
Right.
You know, if a girl got an 8-inch dildo, that's cutting down her dating pool. You know, she getting piped. She getting piped by an 8-inch dick every night or whenever she wants to put on Seventh Heaven or whatever.
All right.
She get, a good amount of time she's getting piped by some other thing.
And you think that's bad?
Well, it's at least tantamount to pocket pussy.
Like, which is also bad. But pocket pussy seems to be not as extreme in that direction. Because, like, yeah, you can make a monster dildo, but you can't make a monster pocket pussy. I mean, it's just gonna be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a limit. There's a ceiling there.
Yeah, literally.
But then the thing that we get roasted for is porn. That's what girls always roast the guys for.
Yeah, like, we're just watching some girls that we would like to fuck.
Right.
Do shit. But, nigga, they're getting full on gargoyle fucked by some of these shit. Some of those dildos scared the shit out of me, dude.
Yeah.
One of them looked like a football, but, like, the ridges were blown up. who's putting that inside of them?
Yeah.
It's ruining you. It's ruining you for other people. I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion on it? So you're not, you're not. Are you pro porn or what?
I would say I'm pro porn. I think that there's a lot of people saying that somehow porn is throwing off expectations for actual sex, which can be true, I think. But I also think that guys will do it regardless. Like they're going to have to drain it regardless. You know what I mean?
You're saying women don't have to do that?
Women have to do it too, but I mean, again, they have the advantage of, I mean, if it wasn't a gargoyle, dildo in the 1800s, they'd be shoving cucumbers up there or some crazy shit. So, I mean, this has always been going on. I don't think this is a new modern phenomenon. I think girls have been shoving shit up there for years. And I think guys have been jerking off for years. Only now we have the technology to make like actual visual porn insane. Whereas 1800s, you had to fucking do it analog or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I kind of am like, whatever. I don't care. But I haven't seen anything like data or studies or anything like that that's like, yeah, porn is actually bad for people.
What? What are you talking about?
Really?
You haven't seen it? You haven't looked it up or you haven't seen it?
I've looked it up. I've never seen anything that says porn is like generally just bad for the human brain. You're giving me a face. So what do you think?
You've watched porn.
I have watched porn. Yes.
What's the earliest into the day, the earliest amount of time into the day that you've watched porn?
Right when I wake up, probably.
Yeah. Now, was that your best day? Like, is your best day ever gone? So I woke up, jerked off, laid down for 10 minutes till I cleaned myself up.
I think it wasn't a bad day. I don't think it was a terrible day. I don't think it's a great day. I don't think it's if I could have the best day of my life and I could wake up and do that, I could have the worst day of my life. It just seems like all right, let me just take care of this real fast and then move on. That's kind of what it felt like.
It's not. That's what it always feels like. It's always taking care of something, but it's also it's irresponsible. Like it's not being in control of yourself. You know, at the end of the day, like, nigga, yeah, you can jerk off, but it's 7:30. Like, just get a cup of coffee first. Like, do something. This shouldn't be your first part of the day. Is fucking jerking off.
So you think doing it at night is somehow better?
Doing anything after having done something is better than, because at least it's a act and then a reward, as opposed to a reward for nothing, which also might be more dangerous for women as far as if they are watching porn. Because sex for them already is a reward for nothing.
That was a wild statement. So explain that.
Women just get fucked. Like, they don't.
I see what you're saying.
Women
I see what you're
don't
saying.
have to do anything.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
they don't do anything, and they can get fucked for it and get whatever. So it's like,
right.
It's like sometimes when I hear about these hoe videos where they're cheating on their husband, and it's like they fucking, why are you mad? I'm sleeping with another nigga. Like, they're literally being woken up from fucking another guy by their husband. They're like, what's your problem? Why are you fucking doing this? And it's like, the thing is, they don't understand the value of sex, because there's no reason to have been able to have recognized it. You know, so prostitution's the oldest profession, right?
Right.
Why did it take hoes till 2023 to realize they could sell their pussy online?
I don't think it took that long. I think they've been doing it before, but I think OnlyFans really popped off in the last couple years.
Every hoe sells her pussy online now. Whether it's OnlyFans, Instagram.
A lot of them, yes.
Photos, whatever.
Yes.
Nigga, it's most girls.
It's a lot of them. Yeah. I'm holding back because there are some girls who just don't do that. But yes, it is a solid number comparatively to 10 years ago. I would completely agree.
Yeah,
it's definitely increasing a lot.
Worse than immigration.
That's funny. But yeah, and is that healthy? I don't know.
Why did it take till 2023 for them to realize that it could be sold, that they could make a lot of money for
technology?
it?
That's really what it comes down to.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because nigga, if I had something that every time somebody walked up to me, they were like, I'd do whatever I can to get that. Then I would have been like, there might be a lucrative fucking nigga. You getting $2,000 dinners, shoes and shit like that. If you just took every pair of shoes back and just got the receipt and just took it back, you got a business that's making like $60,000 a year as a regular hoe.
Yeah.
Not even doing it professionally.
Right.
How can you not recognize that?
But I do think that's been going on for a while, though. I think now it's easier for the average girl to step their toe into that business because of OnlyFans and Instagram. You post a hot picture. I see this all the time on Instagram. It's crazy. It's like a younger girl posting a picture of herself, and then the algorithm will just send it off.
Just run it.
And it will just go crazy viral. And then now this girl's going, oh my God, I got random people on my shit commenting on a photo of me in a bathing suit with my fucking parents.
Yeah.
And they start getting ideas like, and they start getting offers, people messaging them like, hey, I could pay you for this, I'd pay you for that. So what is this girl thinking? Now this girl's thinking, here's an easy way to make money. So then they start getting an OnlyFans, they start doing, and that's how it escalates. And it's so much easier now to indoctrinate girls into this world than I think it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, those girls, you had to actually go out there and like push to be a prostitute. You had to like go for it. But now it seems like the world is finding them and being like, hey, do you want to try? Which is weird. It is crazy. But then to go back to what you were saying earlier, what's good and what's bad?
As a moral push, I don't necessarily the consequences. It seems to be, or the nature of it seems to be what does it. I like your example of what you just described about how easy it is to get into the sex stuff. That sounds a lot like rap, right? Where it's like some people were already doing it, and that was kind of the thing. They realized they could make some money off of it. People started talking to them about it. You can be big with this.
Yeah.
And then they blow up. So then what do? They sign to a larger agency of representation,
right?
Which is what a lot of girls will do. They still, even after we started to see this is a viable business strategy, then artists did it independently, right? And they would rap independently. But then when they wanted, again, to really get it done, it's a part of the larger industry. All I'm saying is, of course they know it's valuable. Everybody that was involved in rap knows it's valuable. If you hear girls talk about their pussy, they know it's valuable.
Right.
They don't know what its value is. And that's what I mean. They don't know the value of pussy. They may know it's valuable, but they don't know the value of pussy and what this stuff
because they've never
is.
been a customer.
The customer might, I mean.
Yeah. It is kind of the only thing that someone sells where they'll never actually buy it themselves. That is kind of interesting.
Dude, I look at a girl, fucking short dress on 6th Street, black dress, skinny, 19, and I go, $7.99.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
$250, 2 weeks free. No, I'm joking.
That's funny.
There's a value.
Premium account. Yeah.
She's premium.
That's great. That reminds me of that Daniel Tosh joke where he's like, I love going up to girls out of the bars and just like a group of girls and going first, second, third. I love that.
That's so great.
It's so funny.
We all know it.
We all know it.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing to us. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's probably going to be girls hearing this and they're going to go, this is fucked that you guys are saying this. But it's the same thing with men. I mean, every man has his own number on him. And it's shit, but it is the truth. And, I mean, it just sort of is what it is. But the thing is that with men, it's not all physical. It's more about there's a financial aspect, there's a physical aspect, and then there is a socially aware aspect. And that's where humor comes in. That's where girls are like, oh, I want to bang a funny guy, or something like that, is because there is a little bit of that. But then because it's more ambiguous, that's why I'm sorry. She wants you to pet her, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that's why guys get away with lying and doing like manipulative shit to get girls, is because it's a bit more ambiguous our value. So you can lie and kind of get away with getting what you want and having sex.
Of course, a guy could go to the bar. I've done this. I've actually told a girl I was a doctor, even though she saw me at my job like a month and a half earlier at a restaurant. But I've told
that's
a girl,
crazy. If she saw, again, I'm gonna have to say that's a dumb bitch. That's insane.
So she
this is my other job. I'm actually an anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
What happened?
I was just thinking of 20 cc's of ketchup on the front line stat. But yeah, she saw me in that, and I was able to lie to her and tell her I was a doctor.
Yeah.
She could not have lied to me and told me she was a 7,
She couldn't. Unless, but this is where girls lie. Heavy makeup and heavy additions to their body. That is how girls lie.
Do you think, that other girl was a 9? I wanted to sneak that in there. But they do lie through makeup. So do you think, so they really understand makeup?
They do, and I think that's something that I think girls they can be, like, no, we don't lie like men lie, but I think they don't want to admit that makeup, like breast implants, like other additions to their body, this is literally their way of lying. But they don't want to admit that is the truth. But it is the truth.
Yes, it is.
Just like how men will lie about things that they do and to kind of emphasize themselves, girls will call it ego. But it's our way of becoming more desirable. Whereas girls, they have to use the physical ways of becoming more desirable.
Nigga, a car is my tits, dog. Like, a car is my tits.
Yeah.
A fucking nice watch is my ass. A fucking drink that I fucking buy you is a necklace or whatever. Like,
yes.
It's all fucking
and that's where I
accessories.
think that's where I think the guy buying the drink started, probably, is because it's already a symbol of I have something to give you. I have a value and I can give you something financially. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
That's their thing.
Whereas the girl is, I just gotta look pretty. You seen those videos of like just like a really ugly chick, and then she puts on like fake teeth, contour, and then by the end it's like, wow, that is crazy how attractive you are.
From where it started to where it was, it's remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people, it's like if you went in as the coffee boy and then just left it like it's like partner.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time you leave the house or whatever. So yeah, it is their lie, and they don't necessarily buy into it.
They don't buy into it, but that's their form of primping, kind of showing that they're bigger than they are.
That's the first lie too. That's what sucks. Is because
What's the second lie?
I just need some money to go shopping. I don't know. I don't know what the second lie is. What do you think the second lie is?
This is gonna sound so fucked. I think women also like to appear to be open to a lot of things in the beginning. They're like, yeah, okay, like I'm open for whatever, and then later on they start going, no, that's actually not okay that you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think women are very like, oh yeah, whatever, that's cool that you do that, and then eventually it turns into, no, actually, I was just saying that because I was, we just met and all that.
Yeah.
That ends up being a lie. I think guys, our lie is generally, like I said, how we act in the beginning, how we look, how we dress. We kind of show off a little bit of like, yeah, this is who I am. But then over time, we just kind of get lazy. We don't lie. We just sort of get lazy with to keep that image going. You know what I'm saying? I think we get sloppy. Maybe that's true. I don't know.
No, I mean, so you're saying like, I'm taking you out on the town and shit like that.
Yeah.
But bitch, I don't like going out like this. Like I don't want to go out 4 nights a week or 3 nights or whatever.
Yes.
And so then it becomes.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. I think girls, they actually like doing those things, but guys, we are just doing that at first for you. Maybe it is a lie at that point. And then after a while, we're like, yeah, I don't actually do that. I just do that because I like you.
Yeah, I don't rock climb.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Yeah.
You're just fucking around.
You'll see guys doing all sorts of crazy shit just to, go on a date with a girl. And it's like, that's not you, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I done it too, wearing nice clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of the game. It's sort of enticing. I mean, there's a good barometer for where I already know I can do something with anybody. And that's why relationships, that's why it's so difficult. People don't have any frame of reference against it. I can do something with anybody. Somebody that I want to be with is who I can do nothing with.
Oh, say that again?
I can do something with anybody.
Okay.
The person I want to be with is the person I can do nothing with.
Person I want to be with is a person I want to do nothing with.
If I can do nothing with you,
we
can do anything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And we'll be compatible. But we go out here, you take a bitch out on a roller coaster, take her out to eat. Nigga, if somebody took me on a roller coaster, took me out to eat, I'd be like, yo, this is a pretty cool guy. Like, let me hang out with him some more. We've had a lot of good times together, nigga. You having the time, I'm sure you having the time of your life. You
right.
Restaurants you don't normally eat at.
Right,
unless you're sleeping around a lot. But it's like, it's easy to get caught up, and then you're like, nigga, we went on a roller coaster together. And it's like, now we looking at this as time invested and shit like that. This is all fun bullshit. But it was bullshit. Lie.
Yeah.
But that first lie, I think it's something is unfair about you lying about the only thing we're not supposed to be able to lie about, like who you appear to be. There's so much fucking that it is. I don't know. I guess because here, let me finish my idea before I counteract it.
Yeah,
lying about who you're supposed to be. I think there's something dishonest about that. Like, well, obviously, but it's like something against the rules, like beyond the normal level of dishonesty.
I agree. I think it's fucked. That's kind of why, like, when I see a girl in heavy makeup, I think it's unattractive now.
Yeah.
I think when I was younger, I kind of was fooled by it, but now I look at it and I'm like, you're just trying so hard to be more than what you are. You're not happy with who you are, so you're trying to elevate who you are. You know what I mean? And the same thing goes with men. Like, you'll see guys who are showing off so much, and you're like, yeah, but he's not that. That's not who he is. And it's already a distasteful thing. even as a guy, like a straight guy looking at another guy, you'd be like, that guy's fake because he's trying so hard to be somebody else. Same thing with a girl. I'll see a girl and I'm like, that's just not you. You're just doing so much to try to get attention. And it's kind of fucking sad, to be honest. It's sad. It is a sad thing. Like a girl just completely dolled up in like 2 inches of makeup to go out to the bars. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
It's what the fuck are you doing? But it's like you gotta do all this to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
which shows insecurity.
That's a broken person.
And that's a broken person.
Yeah.
And if you're insecure, I think that's the most unattractive thing.
Insecurity. And that might be the thing too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it usually consumes them. Because like I'll talk to some of these Kardashian looking bitches and I was like, you fucking...
They suck. They generally suck.
I usually I'm like, you're not as fine as you think you are.
Yeah.
I can't just believe you because you're supposed to be beautiful and stuff like that. I kind of hit them with the honest stuff, like, I know what you look like, and I'm also, I think I know who you are. Prove me wrong. You kind of do it playful enough, they kind of just whatever.
Right. But they think that it gives them a power, and it does. It does give them a power over certain people.
Always, yeah.
But the same thing with dudes. Like, you'll see dudes who are walking around. You see them on 6'2", the guys in like the button-down shirts, and they're all like, oh, fucking, let's go out and get, those guys. They always put up a front. They're like, I'll fuck up anybody. And it's like, yeah, but dude, you're a bitch. Like, you're just a kid out here. You know what I mean?
But it works. This is the thing that I was going to contradict before. It's like, even for the suit shit, how come when I put on a suit to apply for a job, I'm not a piece of shit? I've been a piece of shit my whole life. Then I go to a job, I put a suit on, they go, oh, you're a pretty good guy.
That's good.
I'm not a good guy.
That's a good parallel.
So it's like, the reason why I think the makeup's more egregious is because we all understand you can manipulate with outfits.
Yeah.
But the thing, the who you are is something that you can't really escape. I put on a lot of makeup throughout the day to try and look white, dog. Like, and that would help me out a lot. But it's a lot of shit. And that, if people found out that I was white at the end, or that I was really black after just infiltrating a group of Gilmore Girls or whatever group of whites there is.
You mean like a white chick situation?
No, not like that. I didn't exactly mean like that. I don't know a lot of white shows. I heard about the OC yesterday. And in infiltrating a group of people from the OC, if they found out that I was black at the end of the day.
How would they feel?
And the OC is a bad example. I don't know if they'd be capable of feeling, but they would fucking, how did you get in here?
Yeah.
They would have invited me over.
What the hell? Dang nabbit. One of them got in. It's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, we built our whole lives trying to stop something like that.
Trying to stop something like that is hilarious.
But they would be upset. It seems like a larger portrayal than if one day they were like, Brian, you're wearing a T-shirt? I thought you were a suit guy. Like, nobody's going to be devastated by that. They're going to be like, yeah, I guess.
Well, I think, like in your last job interview, when you wore a suit, you thought it helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it does help. But I mean, that shows that you care, I think. That's like wearing good clothing when you go to a date. An interview's kind of like a date, you know?
Of course.
It's like, all right, who are you and who am I? And you want to, I guess it is a lie, kind of.
So, who have you been seeing the last 5 years? What did you guys do together?
Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah. How did that end? Like, it is kind of like a...
When was the last time you got tested? Pee in this cup. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
But I think that's acceptable when you're lying for a job. I don't know why it's more acceptable, but it is more acceptable when you're lying to meet someone or to have sex, I don't know. It feels a bit more, it feels too personal.
It's personal?
Yeah, when you're on the 6th Street and you're lying about who you are as a person to another person for the end goal of sex seems more personal than I'm going to put on a suit to get a job so that this company can give me money. You know what I mean? That seems more of a betrayal to say I'm going to try to manipulate one person to get what I want than to manipulate a corporation to get money that I need to eat. You know what I mean?
No, don't put it like that. Because
No?
it's manipulate one person to get pussy that I want to fuck versus, or need to fuck, versus manipulate essentially one corporation proxied by one person to get what I need to eat.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. I am lying to an institution. I don't consider whatever person in front of me for the interview a real human being. I consider them a representation of a company's values that have been prescribed to them. And most of the interviews, most people that hire people are hiring that. They're hiring the company's idea. Nobody goes fucking, you see Squirrely Jake over there? Took a real risk on him. Fucking, I think it'll pay off though. Like it's always what the company has already asked.
Right.
Whereas the person, you would think it would be what they asked for. But then I ask, how do you define your own moral center? And it sounds like, by the way, do you think it sounds like it's more egregious in your eyes or more immoral to lie to another human being than it might be to lie to yourself?
Fuck. It's more immoral to lie to another human being than it is to lie to yourself. When are you lying to yourself?
The job, because you're not that guy.
Oh, I don't think you're lying to yourself. You're lying to them.
You think it's just purely to them?
I think it's to them. But I think if I was lying to myself, I'm trying to imagine how I would lie to myself. I guess by doing things that... I think lying to yourself is worse. Because when you lie to yourself, you're basically lying to everybody also. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're walking around like, no, that's not who I am. I'm gonna lie and say that I'm this, and then you portray that, and now you're lying to everybody. Yeah. When you're just lying to one person, it's not as bad. Yeah.
So I'm not a wife beater type of guy, and so I lie to myself. I put this on. I lie, and now it's doubly bad because I'm lying to everybody.
Yeah, because now you're lying to everybody.
But I want to be a wife beater guy.
Well, then maybe you gotta work on a t-shirt and cut the sleeves off and just kind of work your way there.
You gotta get strong.
You can't just jump right to a wife beater.
Yeah.
You gotta earn those stripes. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, man. Makeup, cars. These are all ways that we do it, but
yeah, and the game's messed up. I mean, it is like a game of grapevine where I think a girl heard one time what she really wanted from a man, and then some other girl said it. And by the time it got told to the last fucking bitch down the line, it's way more ridiculous than what the actual, or by the time it got back to her, that's what it is. By the time it got back to her, it's way different than what she actually said in the beginning. But she doesn't know because this bitch done been filtered through 800 other hoes. And if all them people are okay with it, why am I weird to be the weird one to go with what I originally said? And I think it's every relationship almost that we see from people in society. I don't think people are dating who they want to date because I don't think they fucking know. Because they don't know what they want. They don't know who they are. It's the fucking caveman. You can't see your own reflection because it's covered in makeup. It's covered in opinion. It's covered in pressure. You can't see it. And so you don't know what you're looking at when you fucking see it right across from you. That's what I was getting at, is that the capacity for that women call themselves hyper empathetic or whatever. That's not. Just because you're passionate about bullshit doesn't mean that's the case. To actually see what you're looking at and be able to recognize it, I think it's missing from most aspects of society. At least the reason why this seems to be a men versus women, men have more opportunities to have to confront that, but I think it's missing from both sides of society.
Men have more opportunity to confront that. Why?
Because you can't just get by on the lie that you tell other people. Like, eventually you got to prove it to yourself. There's so many more rejections.
Because women have it a little easier in that sense.
You have to reassess your lies. You can't, if you start crying, you just a crying ass nigga.
Yeah.
Who also in a bad situation. A girl starts crying.
No one shows empathy for you. Yeah.
It's different.
You have to kind of get your shit together and figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. But I don't know. What's weird about the whole thing, like with the OnlyFans, to go back to that, is that where this is going is essentially a market online where every girl has like you said, a fucking price number. That's what's crazy. And every girl, like, there are the ones that are like the highest value, and then there are the ones that are the lowest value. And they're voluntarily operating in this. They're like, yeah, I want to do this. I'm making money. Why wouldn't I do this? That's the part where I'm like, that's fucking scary. Because this is, and it's usually the feminists that are doing OnlyFans. So people that are hyper, like I think it's like, is that true?
Well, they're definitely, I don't know if they're doing it. They're definitely pro. Anytime
they're pro OnlyFans.
Anytime OnlyFans girl, get your money, girl. It's always that.
Get your money. Yeah, that kind of attitude. But to me, it's like the end game of this is if everybody was on this, it would literally be a scaling of like, okay, if you're a man, you have to pay me X amount of money. And that seems to be where we came from. You know what I mean? That seems to be the original. That's where it started, was like, just give me money and then you get to have sex with me now. And you have to give me some kind of value. That's very scary. That's a very scary world to be in. And then now the man's objective again is just, how much can you offer? Where are you getting your money from, and how much can you offer me? That's scary.
And that's where we're at. We're just looking at it all on a grid online. That the internet does nothing but centralize and availabilize fucking everything that has been these clerical spreadsheets prior. And this is what's interesting too, is that with feminism, all this other shit, they don't know. Feminism is just you owning your own oppression. Like,
that's a what? Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. But what's crazy is they don't. That's what's crazy too.
Yeah, no, that's
the other thing that's even more crazy. That's what got like Andrew Tate. These guys, they run these OnlyFans girls. They're like a pimp. You know what I mean? And they're operating their accounts. They're like, look, you work with us, you get money, you do your thing, you take your photos, you take your videos, we'll pay you. It's like, dude, that's a pimp and that's a prostitute. This is the modern world. The only difference is it's on a screen. That's the only difference. That's it. It's literally pimp prostitution. That's exactly what's happening. And then feminists are like, yay. But then they'll shut down actual prostitution. They'll say like, no, actual prostitution is wrong.
No.
And it's like, that's the same fucking thing. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. It's just no physical connection. You know, in Germany, prostitution is legal.
Yeah.
And they have health care. They have benefits. That, I think, is a pretty good thing. They should do that. I think that is good. But I also think women need to ask themselves, like, is this really the world that you want to go into? Is this the world you wanted? You know, everybody with their own number over their head? That's fucking crazy. That's Black Mirror.
Just fucking think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
As a feminist, is this what you want, a girl where their pussy price is listed for sale?
Yeah.
Every single girl that you know. Because what do you think happens when you win your bullshit? Like, all the shit that you allow. Nobody puts that shit through. And this is why people talk about, like, hey, you look at what's going on with black people, you can see what's going on in America. I believe that.
Like what?
Nigga, if things the things that happen that I notice amongst the black community are a microcosm for larger, largely, I don't even want to I don't care either which way, but like oppressive natures or like where society is going and shit like that. Like, I think black people are a good barometer for what society is willing to enact against other aspects of human beings. Where I think we've been that since the beginning, just like a guinea pig. I think we're responsive to things. I think we're tolerable of more shit.
Well, what are black people doing now? That's going to be the broader spectrum.
Well, this is like, dog. So the thing is with women, with the OnlyFans thing now, is black people already went through all of that shit. Where we just owned our own oppression. We thought that being independent, taking back our own shit, we were fucking whatever. But we do the same shit. What they do? They kill black people back in the day. We kill ourselves now.
Yeah.
Like, that's who
owning
we
your
kill.
own oppression. Yeah.
We own our own oppression. We buy our own chains. Kanye West, 400 years later, we buying our own chains.
Yeah.
Kanye didn't have to say it, but I was just listening to St. Pablo the other day. But it's everything. We call ourselves the N-word. We police our own reading. I got criticized by more black people told me I shouldn't be reading than white people ever told me in my entire life.
Reading?
Reading. Books, nigga.
Wow.
Reading, dog.
People are telling you that you shouldn't be reading?
Dude, I'm what do I want to be? I'm not black. Fucking, why am I learning this shit? Not cool, all this other stuff. Like, literally, not reading. And not my dad either, who was really old. Just like niggas my age. Like, discouraging that shit. Books and shit is a term.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just books. You know, it's not books and shit. It's not a things to be disregarded in society.
Why do you think they do that? Because they think it's like oppression from us, from white people? They think somehow books are some kind of form of oppression?
So this is what women and shit, this is what everybody got to deal with. Because you got the slaves going, you know, we're not reading niggas. Niggas don't read. That's not what we do. Yeah. And then you got the niggas who are the woke niggas that are like, you see, the white man gonna have you read the white man's book. All right? Moby Dick is about a white man traveling the ocean trying to fuck away and all this other shit. So then now I'm not reading. If I want to better myself, I can't be reading books. If I want to be worse, I'm not supposed to be reading.
Either way, you lose.
Yeah, it's like
you're picking some kind of weird genre any which way you go, whether you read the book or you don't. You have to pick a team of some kind, and then one side's hating on you and the other side's. Yeah, that sucks.
You don't, and it's just pick what you're willing to live with in order to build a solid foundation throughout the day. Every girl will go through it with their makeup, where they'll cake it on. At some point, bitch, you're going to be 50. You're going to have 4 kids. You already going to be fat. You were fat before. You tried to hide it with the makeup. And you're just going to say, do I want to paint a whole fucking 2-hour bullshit? Or do I want to just take the eyelashes, a little bit of chapstick, and be miserable here in the house? It sucks that that's the way, where you have to be beaten down by your own insecurities and sort of oppressive characteristics in order to really start to try and decide for yourself. But that's kind of the case. Like, you have to lose at being a woke nigga in order to give it up. Because you bought into it. It becomes your identity. You got to lose at it. And man,
maybe not even lose, just don't play the game.
I'm saying the ones that are already in it. You got to lose. And that means you either lose your identity or you fight for the rest of your life to uphold it.
Unless you made that your identity.
That's what I'm saying. Then you make it your identity. So then you get niggas like, I think Cornel West is great, but he's outdated with a lot of his perspectives. And the way that he goes, I'm not going to say a lot, with some.
Who's Cornel West?
He's a black pillar in society. He's a black figure, scholar.
What does he say?
He's just a lot of pro-black stuff.
Mm.
And he's got kind of an old school. Now he's old, so I think Seinfeld said it best. Sometimes niggas just pick a decade and run with it, you know. And he'll talk, but he's trying to talk to the youth, and he's like, "We're making a lot of unilateral affectations on how we should monopolize the black community. Sometimes we are a little derivatious in nature when we should, but it's all towards this idea that black is something to save."
Yeah. Which you
And
disagree with.
Everything, I mean, we went through the list of black. I can go through it again. It's just, it's all the bullshit. It's not reading. It's change. It's robbing people. Nigga, I think Larry Hoover got released from fucking prison.
Larry who?
Our fucking supposed to be, he's a drug dealer. Them niggas might as well let Young Thug out. He got a presidential pardon from Trump after.
Oh,
being
I
in
remember
prison.
that. Yeah.
He might as well. This is Young Thug.
Yeah.
This is our guy. And the community was like, "Oh, we got him back, ladies and gentlemen." There's church ladies. "Oh, we done got him." Who the fuck is this? He ruined our community. It's like the idea of black. He wants to protect the idea of we're strong brothers and sisters. But what is that? One, black intellect, you can have that too. But it's like, what is that? That is not what it means to be black right now. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud was the beginning of a slippery slope, and niggas aren't good on ice, dog. We did not take that shit and run with it.
What do you think it means then?
What, black, or say it loud, or what?
Just being black. What do you think that means to you?
To me?
Yeah. Like, fuck everything else, just to you. What does that mean in your day-to-day life?
Dude, to me, day-to-day...
Or does it even matter day-to-day? Is it just something you don't even think about?
No, I mean, not really, but I'll give it what it is. And that's the idea that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, there's going to be circumstances that come with that. If you're fat, you got to deal with fat shit, like the just like narrow walkways and stuff. Like, you got to find a new thing. Moving. Walmart is big. Like, if you want to go there, you're going to have to,
You got to maneuver.
You got to.
So there are obstacles that you run into every now and then that you're like, yeah, that's just some shit that I got to deal with.
That's the only thing I look at it. It's like, it's shit you got to deal with because I'm a person. Because I'm a black person, you get code black, or you got to play on level black, which might be a hard level.
You probably see that in comedy a lot. Does it get tiring?
What about being black?
Yeah, because then that's something that obviously people would say, like even in a roast battle, to come full circle, someone would say, a bunch of black shit at you. And it's like, yeah, that's part of my identity, I guess. But would you categorize that as something that you just have to, like, that's just part of that's my shopping cart at Walmart, that's the fat shit that I just have to deal with. It's just like, yeah, I'm a black guy, or is there other stuff that you run into day to day that's worse, that you're like, that's something that I'm always like, fuck, that sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm black and I'm proud, and my pride is not tied to my blackness. But fucking, yeah, I mean,
that's a good way of saying it.
I've had issues with the comedy scene just for the idea of, the amount of people that were like, we got to have a girl on the lineup, and I'm like, but you don't got no black people on the lineup. Are you doing this bullshit or not? Because it's like, I'm fine with whatever, but don't put this bitch on here because you need a girl on here, and then don't put a black person on here. Don't even think about it. That's what sucks. You don't even think about it, dog. Like, just consider it and then say no.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at, where it's like, you wouldn't even think that we need one because no black people are going to speak up because there's not enough in the community, and the ones on the internet don't really know how to type out what the fuck they wanted to say anyways. Like, they don't fucking, it's the not acknowledging that's tough. But nigga, what
that
am I
makes
going to
sense,
do?
though. I mean, that does feel. I could totally see that. If you're on a lineup and you're like, oh, they need a girl, okay, well, that makes sense. I could see that.
Just if you're gonna lie to me too.
Yeah.
Don't leave me out of the lie.
Yeah.
I want to lie.
Yeah.
Well, this is where it really comes full circle, and not just another shit because Scott is so fat. During the roast battle, Scott fucking hit me with some shit that was there was his last line was just racist. This is the thing that all right. So we'll go to the racist part first, and then I'll bring it back to me.
Sure.
His last line was, I said a joke, and then his last joke was, it's really not fair because Brian can kind of make fun of me for being gay and fat, but if I talk about what's wrong with him, I'm going to get in trouble.
That's just ambiguous enough to skate, but I do see what you mean. That could come off as very racist.
That's every day. I mean, they laughed, and again, it's ambiguous enough to skate, but for the crowd to laugh, it has to be.
There needs to be something there. Yeah.
And as a comic, for your last joke to be, I'm not even gonna tell a joke. What kind of bullshit is that, nigga?
Yeah.
He didn't come up with the thing that is comedy.
That's like a girl saying, I want you to know what's bothering me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, feel seen.
I'm upset that you don't know what's making me upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like you're not listening to me. It's like, bitch, you've been giving me silent treatment for like 4 weeks. Did you even figure it out?
That's interesting. I can see how that, that would be annoying.
So that's the black thing. This is the personal thing. That it also, this is being black in a nutshell, because you have to tie it to whether you're black or whether you're a person. And this is the whole thing in a nutshell. This is an easier example. I think it'll be easy to, but who knows? I'm sure you'll find a fault with me in some aspect of this. But so Scott does a joke for his third joke. And he goes, here's the deal. Brian, nobody really knows this guy. I talked to all the black people. I'll talk to all the black people in Austin, all of the black comics, and they said, we don't hang out with this guy. He said, we don't hang out with this guy. He's not our friend. We don't like him. We don't hang out with this guy. To be clear, nobody hangs out with this guy. Now, one, the tag that he should have put on that was Enigma. But he missed that one, and that's what happens.
Oh, that's incredible. Okay.
Would have been great. But he missed that bullshit because, whatever. But the thing is, he said that as a joke. During a roast battle. What is that joke? That joke is...
That's what I was saying earlier. That's where I would be like, that's not really funny. It's just kind of a little too much. It's not really funny. You know what I mean?
It's not funny at all.
Yeah.
No, and it kind of petered out or whatever. Two things. The audacity for a person to think that it is so widely understood that I am unlikable, that if they just talk about it to a group of people that don't know me, that they will agree, and not only agree, but agree in unabashed, uproarious laughter.
I have a question for you. At these roast battles, is the audience mostly comics?
No.
I've never been to a roast battle here.
No.
So it's a lot of just random people.
Probably. I think I heard Creek does like 180. So if Creek does, it's full during roast battle. So I would say it's gonna be 80% crowd.
Okay. Because I would almost, the way like I hear this objectively, again, I don't know Scott, I don't know any of these people on a personal level, but objectively, that almost sounds like something I would say among comics.
Friends, yeah, comics, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because it feels more like we all know what's going on and I'm fucking around. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he worked with some of the people at Sunset about it, but it's like, you really, also just really think about it. What the fuck did I do in the entire scene to where a group of people all have this consensus? He is so unlikable that everybody knows it. I would have had to have done something that I would think everybody would know.
Right.
You know, otherwise, this seems like a group of people making opinions, compounding them or whatever, or choosing not to get to know who the fuck I am.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And it's like, just to fucking think, the disconnect to think that you're at that point where you can just go, this guy shouldn't even be a person. You guys get me? Like, it's like you guys are on some other shit, dog. And it's like, so what is that? Is that me as an individual? Is that also, because this is also peppers on the other end of what we just talked about putting bitches on a lineup, but don't even think about putting a nigga on? Because it's like, it didn't even come across my mind. So it's like, am I this bad of a person? And you talk to me for an hour, I could be. Am I this bad of a person to where it's so obvious that I should be dismissed and unliked? Or is it because I'm black? And being black is naturally dismissed and not really thought
That's
of
interesting.
to that point.
So you have to analyze it one step further because you're black is what you're saying.
This is the easiest version of this. Now, what do you think is behind that statement?
If he said that, I didn't think racism. Definitely not at all. To me, it seemed like just not a great joke. And so he thought he would just say something that was on his mind. And just wasn't funny. See, this is the problem I have with the roast battles again. This is back to the roast battles. I feel like it's too easy to just be like, oh, that was just some shit that you were thinking. And it wasn't even funny. It was just like some shit that was on your mind that just came out. Yeah. And it's like, oh, he's fat. Oh, he's black. Oh, I fucked his wife. And it's like, wait, what? And then all of a sudden now you're in this room where people are like, why did that happen? You know? But I don't know. So
you're saying, so it was, you weren't thinking that racism was on his mind?
No, I don't think that at all.
Now, this is perfect because the example about the lineup, racism is not on that Booker's mind.
Right.
If anything, a positive thing in feminism is. But yet a black person is not even thought about as a human being in this situation.
You want to come here? Come here. I think it has to do with the fact that in the community, I think women have a larger voice. Is that bad? In the comedian community here in Austin, I think women are louder about putting a woman on every panel, on every single, lineup. But I don't think that there's as strong a voice in the black community in comedy.
I don't even know what that means, dog. I mean, I've said it to people, like straight up, like, you gonna put a woman on, where's your black guy? And they just go, No, I get it. I'm one voice, but it's like most of the best comics in the city are black.
And I would agree, but I don't know. See, it's tough. It's tough because I see where you're coming from, but it could be, fuck. I couldn't even speak on this. I really couldn't. Because the way I see it is if I was a guy and I'm doing a lineup, and I've never done a lineup, and I'm a booker, and I see a group of a bunch of men, I'm going to look at that and I'm going to think, okay, do we add a woman? maybe you don't need a woman. Maybe that does. Why do you need one? You know what I mean? Like, what does that even matter? And if you can, so if a guy got a lineup and it was all men, white men, does that matter? Are you offended by that?
Am I offended by a lineup of all white guys?
Yeah.
Again, that's the question every day. And it's like, I don't like seeing it knowing I'm around. I don't like seeing it knowing Jay's around. You know, I don't like seeing it knowing Miles is around. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like niggas are ungettable, and it's not like it's just me. Like, dog, I can hit Jay up, you know, to do a spot whenever, and it's not a black thing. It's because Jay's hungry as fuck. He's a great comic. He's willing to do shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if there's just a group of white guys that are great, that's fine. If there's a group of white guys that are, it just happened to be that way.
It sounds like to me is you're always asking yourself, should I be upset that they're not considering a black guy, or shouldn't I be? And what is the right way to feel in that situation?
There's no way. I mean, I lean on, and this is the idea of like, if I was black and proud and proud of my pride as my black, I would have to say something at every fucking show.
Right.
Like, I would have to say something because I'd see it, and then I'd have to go and based on that, I'm probably leaning towards, nigga, even if it's not racist, why don't I just ask and then you tell me it's not? You know? Because that's the most basic version of it. I don't want to assume you're racist. I'll ask you. You give me a good reason, and then that's it. But I don't do that.
The direction I was going in was, if they're getting a girl in, they should get a black guy in.
No, that's
I agree with that. Because if you're playing the game, if you're playing the DEI game, which is like just make it a scaling of everybody, then you got to go all the way. You can't half-ass it. You know what I mean? So I do kind of see your point there.
The part that hurts, again, I'm not gonna say anything for the most part. Like, if it gets egregious, then I'll just be like, hey, what's up? But I'm not gonna make it an issue, because there's clubs here that it's like, it's all boys club. Always boys club. It's like, what the fuck, y'all? Why? Like, if you just like comedy, just bring other people in to see different comedy and shit.
You know what's funny? I was talking about this with someone else. It was a girl, and she was visiting from out of town. She was a girl comic, and I was like, what do you think about the scene? And she was telling me a little bit about it. She goes, I think what's going on here is there is a lot of, oh, you're a girl, and you instantly get booked on a show. Even if you're trash, there's a lot of that going on. And I was like, that's interesting to hear from a girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm new. I've been doing this a year. But I've gotten some shows, I've gotten some stuff booked, and I'm like, but I'm not like crazy going after it. You know, I'm not as hungry as some people. But when I was talking to her about that, I was like, what do you think about just standard white guys? And she goes, well, the problem with the comedy right now in this town, I thought it was so accurate. She goes, is there's a lot of basic white dudes doing it, and some of them are so fucking good, and then some of them are so bad. So she was like, I actually think it's really hard right now for a white guy because people don't know where you're going to land. You have to take more time to kind of figure out where that person goes. Now, we didn't talk about black people. So
perfect.
So there's maybe that's another example to your thing. But I think there is something to be said about the girls. I think it has more to do with women than it does actually to do with black people, because the moment you start doing the whole thing with like, oh, we need at least one girl, then it's like, well, now you're in this room. You need an Asian, you need a black guy. You know what I mean? Now you need to do the whole thing. So I do get that. But also it's like, well, why the fuck do we need a girl anyway? Like, if you didn't get a girl, then you didn't get a girl. That's that. What's the problem with that? And yeah,
I booked 3 shows on one of the East Side venues that we had gotten when I kind of first got into town, and we had some great lineups. We had Cam do a show, we had Lucas do a show, and we did the lineup for the Cam show. Had some people. I made sure to put what I refer to as a breakout spot, which is somebody who I know from Mike's, who doesn't get a chance to be on a lineup with some of these people I know from the mothership that I would like to have on the show, because I got so lucky that I was great at comedy, I guess. But 2 months in the stand-up, being able to get the attention that I had gotten,
right,
it saved me mentally. Like, that's what I'm like, I'm knowing that happened, and I'm still, I still have these questions that we've discussed this whole time.
Yeah.
But I would do the lineup, and they go, hey, my friend go, hey, yo, Tyler would be like, hey, people hit me up, we need to put a girl in the lineup, I think we should. And my response would be, nigga. And then he go, I think we should put a lineup on the girl. And I go, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, all right, I hear the passion. You do have to explain this to me. And I'd be like, dog, I don't have Miles on a lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are we putting... I know, but we need to put a girl in the lineup. I know, but I don't have CJ Landry booked on a lineup.
Right.
Yeah, but we need to put a girl in the lineup. I know. But I don't have fucking, John
Let
booked.
me ask you this. Again, coming from ignorance, does having a girl on the lineup increase the amount of tickets sold?
Nigga, what the fuck are we talking about? I'm not advertising girl on lineup.
Sure.
So why the fuck would a girl on lineup help the tickets sold?
I don't know.
And then
I don't know. Again, ignorance.
Yeah, I know, right? No, it's a good question.
Yeah,
but then at the end of the show, do you fucking do a show when some girls leave and they go, man, I'll tell you what, they had a girl on the lineup, so I'm going to be back next time. Or do they fucking do a show where it's an all-guy lineup and they go, we had a great time? I'll probably just come back because we had a great time. And it's not to smash. There's women that are great. There's women that multiple women that I've said, I think you have something extraordinarily special here. And it hasn't been multiple. It's been, I guess. But I can recognize it. Women, I objectively go, if I'm doing a lineup and you are around, I will be picking you. Doesn't have anything to do with you're a woman.
Yeah.
It's because I like what you do on stage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Merit and that's it.
Yeah.
Just merit and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. But if there is that's the other thing I was going to say is like, if there is some sort of sales element to it, then there might be a purpose.
And niggas don't sell?
Well, maybe they do. I don't know. If there could be a sales element to that as well. I don't know. There could be.
Niggas don't sell though, right? The whole idea is disenfranchisement. This is what we're talking about.
And I'll have to say, if we're comparing about the sellability on a comedy show to a black guy versus a girl probably wins.
Yeah, because girl will sell a show based on girl alone.
Yes.
But niggas will sell a show based on nigga alone too.
Yeah.
We honestly don't have enough data. If I'm leaning woman for sure.
I'm leaning woman.
But that's because I haven't seen 50 black people in Austin to fill out a venue.
And that might be a good reason.
But if you look up the statistics,
there's more women in town than there are guys.
But there should be black people there, and black people supposedly support black people.
True.
If I put on an all-black show and I marketed it,
you would have every black person in Austin, and you would maybe get 20 seats.
Yeah, and it'd have to be at a fish market.
Maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's what it is. But but again, is that something that, I don't know.
The answering to the question is whatever. I'm fine with merit.
Right.
But the only thing is where's the meritocracy to determine the meritocracy? Because
you mean for the people that book?
The people that the through line of all this stuff is I cannot tell if somebody even acknowledges me as a human being or not. And that's the only thing I want. Yeah. I don't want to be acknowledged as black or whatever. But at least if somebody did acknowledge I was black, they know I was in the fucking room. Mm-hmm. I don't have the thing about Scott. I don't care which way that joke was. I don't think that it was a black thing, but I do think that it was both. Because to have the audacity to say that about somebody, and to have the lack of awareness for that to have ever come up I feel like I have to take, it's a Venn diagram. Part of me not being acknowledged as a person is because a lot of white people literally don't know how. You either buy into a stereotype that you recognize and you hope to God that that black person embodies it whenever you talk to them, or else your entire foundation for black people is fractured, you know? Or you come at somebody as something that they don't understand, and it's going to cause a bunch of issues as well. But a lot of these, they don't know a lot of these white people, dog, the amount of people that say, "What up, yo?"
You don't like that?
I'm not a yo. If you know me, you know I'm not a yo.
That's interesting. That's so interesting. That's like the code switch.
Yeah.
That would, I think, be the most annoying thing. I think if I was black, I would be very annoyed by that.
I hate it, but the thing is, this is what it comes down to. There's things that I'm sure I don't understand because of the nature of how I grew up, although I try and understand a lot. I've been exposed to a lot of things. There's things that white people don't understand. I can't get mad or question or get analytical about every single thing that happens. You just take these crumbs and they lead you to an idea about a person. And the ironic part is, I do that for everybody I come to, right? Regardless of our interactions. And it seems like they're not necessarily keen on doing that with me.
Mean dismissing you.
They don't take the crumbs to figure out who I really am and dismissing me. And you know what? That's okay, right? Because just like the moral idea with the hotel elevator is that if I'm going to make this my morality, if I'm going to stand for truth and honesty of my opinion, then I have to be that despite what other people do at that time or would have done.
And you did.
You keep going back. Don't bring up that elevator shit no more. I do it every day though. It's like and I'm not perfect either. You know,
Nobody's perfect.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure I got mistakes that people could have just caught me up. The thing about Scott is like it's not like I've been the best guy out at all times. I know that's also a personal thing, but I also know it's like, but why? Like, it can't just be totally that. You know? But yeah, have I been the best? No.
It's funny you mentioned being dismissed. I just feel like that can happen in comedy in general, though.
For sure.
I feel like that's kind of a unspoken nature to the game, is people are very hesitant to know anybody, it seems like. You know what I mean? I've definitely felt that.
Hesitant to know anybody.
Well, it just feels like there are some people who are like, they resist knowing you because of whatever reason. Maybe it's because of a perception of clout, a perception of image that they have of themselves, a perception of a caste system, like I'm above you in some way. Or it could be a perception of, like me, sometimes there's one guy I know where I'm like, this guy, I feel like he's avoiding me because he thinks I want to get on in one of his shows. You know what I mean? I've had feelings like that where I'm like, I think that's why he's like the way he acts with me. You know what I mean? But, and I don't want this to sound bad, but it sounds like on your end, you have to deal with that same problem, but also think of the angle of racism, where it's like, but is it also because I'm black? You know what I mean? And that would be tough. That's a whole another element thrown into the equation.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Especially, and it's just for like building a character, because like I need this feedback so I can improve. I need to figure out where are my faults as a person so that I don't have them anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's fine. And then there's instances where people overcorrect.
Yeah.
And it's like, let me just figure out, was this just some nigga shit? Or is it like actually...
But they would never say that. They would never admit.
They would never know. Like, I love racism because at least you know, like, at least you're telling me who you are. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
The dangerous part is They don't know. And that's why it's like
unconscious racism.
How can it be fixed if you're not aware of it? That's the only thing I have. I'm perfectly fine with you not liking me because I'm black. Just know it.
Just tell me.
And be able to articulate it. You don't have to even tell me. You can tell your friends.
I'm trying to think if that's ever happened to me where like I've done something different with someone because they were black. I think the answer is definitely yes. But I hate the answer is yes. But I think that's definitely happened.
Doug, you seem great. Like when I met you, you just seemed like a guy that was I guess, more interested in what was inside of your face than the front of it. That's the worst way to put that.
Yeah.
But you seem like you're just, I want to say you were, whatever height everyone is, I feel like mentally you just hang out just above that height.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It's just like, we're just looking at what's kind of emanating off of this thing. I don't really care what it looks like.
Yeah.
We're all kind of beyond this physical idea of what we're supposed to be. Let's just go ahead and meet where the brains meet. And that was kind of the vibe I got from you from the jump. So it's like...
Yeah. That first talk, I killed Tony line. We were chatting about, I think it was like death or suicide. I forgot what it was. But that was a good chat.
It was great. And it's like, so that when I look at people like you, it's like, I consider myself, it's a battle of awareness. That's what it is. I don't think once you start seeing stuff like that, or you make an effort to, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It's just what are you aware of, and then in terms of your decision making.
Yeah.
Because we're getting past the things that sort of make us more derisive in nature and duplicitous, and we're just kind of getting to the things that are supposed to kind of just connect us.
Yeah.
And awareness. We need to be able to know I need to know a poison leaf so I don't step on it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And so I don't think that there is right or wrong when you're functioning under that idea.
Yeah. And I think the internet helps because there's no face behind an internet when you're talking to somebody.
How does that help?
Well, I mean, like you said, meeting the mind and only the mind. Like if we're just two minds in a shell and we're talking to each other through an interface of like chat, you can just know somebody without seeing somebody. It's when you see their physical appearance is when you start making judgments about who that person is as a person.
I don't, there's not a single opinion on the internet that I've heard without considering somebody's face along with.
Considering, but not knowing, right?
Kinda. Don't you kinda know?
Like, let's say this.
Yeah.
Let's say you just send me a text randomly, and then I'm texting you, and we're just going back and forth, and you've never seen my face. You would just be seeing you're not seeing any sort of preconceptions about who I am as a person, except for what I'm thinking and typing and how I type. That's the only thing you're seeing about me. You know what I mean? So there's no racism there. It's impossible to be racist because you're looking at the typing and you're thinking, this is just a mind, you know? I think that helps in that world of like, is it racist? Are you being judgmental against me because of how I dress or how I act or my gender, whatever? Because it's just, there's no way to judge me when you were just talking. And I'm saying on the internet, that's possible.
It is possible. I was going to say, most of the internet, everybody has a profile and a username.
True.
But when's the last time you just had a random conversation with a random phone number you weren't aware
of? Phone number, no. But like I play a lot of games, and I think when I play video games, you'll have that. Well, like you're just chatting with someone, and you're like, this is just a fucking cool person. I don't know anything about them. I don't know where they live, what they look like, and I don't even know their voice. It's not even a phone call. You can't even make judgments about how they talk, you know? And then all of a sudden we're in a call, and I'm like, okay, now I know a little bit more about you. And then I see a profile picture, and then it's like, okay, so you're kind of building backwards, which is, I think, the better way of learning a person. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the internet has helped with that because you get to learn the mind first, and then you go, oh, and this is how he looks and acts and is. But in reality, you learn the other way. You see how someone looks, acts, and is, and then the mind comes in later. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but without an idea of how someone looks, acts, and is, the mind is presented when you interact with them. I'm thinking about when you were a kid. And you don't know who the fuck is coming over. It's just some random guy.
Right.
And I don't have opinions about him. I don't go, fucking UPS, this piece of shit. Like, there's nothing. It's just, who is this?
Yeah.
And what can I learn about them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, the nature of it, I don't know what comes first, but essentially we ascribe archetypes to faces.
Yes.
And the only way to bypass that now
is communication.
Is strictly
to talk.
Yeah, just to talk.
Right. And that's where I think the internet is a great place to combat that, because it's like, again, you don't see their face right away. And that's what I think is so beautiful about it. It's like you're just going right to the mind, and then it all comes later. But I think, especially in comedy, it's the opposite. People look at you, and that's the first judgment they have of you. You look at a Kill Tony live stream, someone walks behind the curtain. The moment that curtain opens, you just see the most heinous, judgmental bullshit about that person right away.
Yeah.
And it's fucked. It's fucked. And it makes you just be like, yeah, that's bullshit. But it would be nicer if it was the other way only, where you just got to meet a random person and just think with them and be like, I'm just going to talk to you. Yeah.
That's why these dating apps are so retarded, because these hoes, they want to match, and then it's like, all right, let's just meet up, fucking talk, and then it's like, well, you didn't fucking. It's like, what are you doing, bitch? Like, you did the part. You already made your choice, and now you're acting like you didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a great idea for a dating app, is to do it the inverse.
When you were talking, that's exactly what I was
That's
thinking.
a great idea for a dating
exactly
app.
what I was thinking.
No faces. You just get, boom, thrown into a chat box. And then over time you can share more about each other.
Nobody. There'd have to be a way to where you connect with this, and then you reveal more along the way. Whether that's 1 sense at a time,
or a timer.
Auditory timer.
Yeah. Like, you guys have been chatting for so many hours. So now show each other a face. Show each other something about a voice. It would start with a voice.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, this is actually a great idea.
Yeah.
Show it do an audio message. That's how it would start.
Yeah.
And then the next one, it would go to visual, and then like a FaceTime video or something like that.
Visual, it could be anything. And the reveal creates milestones within knowing somebody. It creates that interest and intrigue. Well, now that we've gotten through this, I like talking to this person so much. Oh my God, I hope they're not ugly. Yeah. Because I really like talking to them.
It's like Love is Blind. You ever seen that show?
In clips.
They did that in that show. They would just put two people in a room and they talk to each other through a box, and they can't see each other. And then they have to pick which person they like the most, and then they keep going on dates with that person until eventually it's like, all right, the big reveal. And some people were like, damn. Yeah.
Those conversations. Busted. Yeah. Because they were lying too.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm ugly.
That would suck. But think about how much more it would hurt. How much more the pain would be to build a relationship with somebody, all to go to the big reveal, and they see you and they go, fuck that.
I'm going to put a lot of makeup on it.
Yeah, like, that is ugly as shit, dude. Kind of wish I saw you first.
That is the thing that everyone lies, right? That's the first lie. Is that if you knew how ugly I was, you wouldn't talk to me anyways.
Yeah.
And that's the first lie. And you know what? That's the most acceptable. Nobody wants to hear it. That's why they lie about it. They're just not conditioned to. But it is the most acceptable.
The physical presentation.
What I hate is when I get rejected on who I am. Like, That sucks for me, you know. Let's talk. Oh, you're all right. You don't like the same things. Like I don't like that. So I mean, if it's just like it gives you an opportunity to, it'd have to be a minute, dog, as far as this dating app goes, and really control it because the chances, the 1 in 100 that works out where somebody goes, I like this person so much, I don't care that they're ugly.
Yeah.
You know, I did that with my last wife.
But what a story.
You know,
You know,
what a story.
what a beautiful. That's like fucking Beauty and the Beast, man.
Yeah, but there's more Beauty and the Beast than Beauty and Beauty. Like Beauty and Beauty is some vapid nonsense, ugly and ugly. There's 4s and 6s should be hooking up. 7 and 3s, you don't want to see it, but whatever. 5 and 5s, like it's not just 10 and 10.
Yeah.
Or fucking what I don't like when a woman walks in a room. You said the first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah.
Is that if there was that and that with the guys, the first, second, third, and fourth woman would all go for the first man, and then the fifth bitch would be like, "I'll take second," or third if nobody knows, and fourth if it's late. Like, but everybody, it's just that. Whereas with the guys, the guy would go first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
He'd be with that girl, and then the second guy would just be like, I'll take the second place.
No, they would go.
Yeah.
They would go. Why? Girl would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guy would go first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And they go, well, what does that mean? It means I'm fucking her and her and her and her and her.
But I'm starting with her. Yeah. But the girl would be like, no, it's him, and that's it.
Him.
Yeah. I wonder if that relates to. Because when he said that, that reminded me of like bonobo chimps or like monkeys, baboons. Because what they do is they have harems where they have one dude and he has like 20, 30 girls. You know what I mean? And it's like, is that in our nature to do shit like that? Is that inherent? And then kings, you know, Genghis Khan, all these famous people from the past, Elon Musk, that's kind of what happens. It's one dude with like 30 girls. You never see a girl with like 30 guys, and she's happy to talk about all those guys. Yeah. That's never something that you hear about.
No. It's a cuck. It is a cuck society. We'll have to get into that on another pod. But I got a lot of cuck.
Do you have to go soon? You said you got to go at 2, right?
I might have to go a little before 2. It's about 15 minutes to get to work.
All right, we can keep going.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a pulse check on you. But yeah, that is an interesting one. Is that guys seem to get away with it, and girls seem to be upset about that. They're like, well, guys can bang a bunch of girls, and it's like, and it's powerful.
They're trying to own it now. It's like, what the fuck are you? That's what I'm saying. You don't understand the value.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be just giving it. Bonnie Blue is at the point where it's like, I wouldn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you first see her, it's like, oh, it's some cool MILF chick or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, you fucking 1,000 guys in a day.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of, was that girl. Yeah.
On a lifetime, I'm not gonna do it. Like, if she fucking 1,000 dudes in a day, I would, honestly, I'm like, get off of me. Like, if it ever happened, I'd be like, get off of me. I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
Obviously, all this decision making gets extraordinarily different when it's 2 a.m. or you're drunk,
right? Or
she's right here in person,
right?
But this bitch is disgusting to me,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And it's just it's careless, irresponsible.
But I think a girl would have the same thing. Would say somewhat of the same thing to a guy. I think a girl, knowing that a guy's been with 300 girls in a day, she'd probably be like, what the fuck? She'd probably be a little turned off by that, unless she thought she could get something out of it. That's the difference.
You think so? She thinks she wants to fucking...
I think sexually she would say, no. But I think if there was a possibility that she could get money from it, maybe. But I think the same thing would happen for a guy. If a guy thought possibly you could get money for having sex with the Bonnie, what was her name? Bonnie
Blue.
Bonnie Blue. If you thought you were getting money out of it, you'd be like, maybe, but that would never happen. There's no way. You know what I mean? That would never happen. You would never get money for having sex with a girl. That would never happen.
No. Thank you.
Yeah.
I maybe an IOU as far as coming. I think I don't think a girl would be as disgusted by that. Now again, I could just be an outlier in the midst of all this. 300, because if I was a girl, I was thinking, how did you pull that off? Who's the guy that popped 300 nuts in one day? And what are we about to do?
But again, but what that implies is, how did you pull that off? What does that imply? That implies you got something going on, whether it's money or power. You have something of value that all these women else thought was valuable. So again, she thought she was going to get some kind of value out of it. Maybe it could, you know what I mean? She thinks she's getting some kind of value out of it. That's where that question comes from. Whereas a guy is like, I just get to bust my nut. That's kind of sick. That's it. That's all we're thinking about.
The more pussy a guy gets, value goes way up. The value of that dick goes up. The more dick pussy gets, that value goes way down. This bitch did a margin call on her pussy.
I love how natural that was, dude. I loved how natural that was. She did a margin call on her pussy. She was hedging pussy. Holy shit, that was funny. But yeah, generally, yes, that is the truth. It is the truth.
Yeah, it's honestly, I just think it's not knowing what your value is, and it's one of the most obvious signs of stupidity. Like not knowing what your value is. And I think at least for me, it's a major turnoff for anybody to just know how stupid somebody can be.
Yeah.
To see that pushed. I don't think you want to fuck that person.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to either. But I think that, I don't know. Again, I think it comes down to, just getting some feedback there. I think girls can also think that in some way, but again, if they think they're going to get some kind of value out of it, then they're in it. I don't know. But it's crazy.
Well, that's pretty much what we're talking about. At least with the OnlyFans thing and stuff like that. We're all walking around with a value over our head that you can either have on private mode, and people have to look at a blurry image of you to try and ascertain what that value is, or you can keep it on public, and everybody will know exactly what your value is. Essentially, that's what we're all laboring under.
Yeah.
Because you can look at somebody was telling me about your Instagram, actually. Because I don't know how many followers you got on Instagram. I was like, nigga, put Eric up. Eric's good time. You know, they're like, well, I don't know, but I'm looking at his Instagram. I think they said you had like 40,000 followers or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, so we should probably, I was like, nigga, that ain't a reason to put nobody up. Like, I mean, like, if you want to make a connection that way, but I was like, why don't you just see what he's about?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think that's also a big issue with comedy right now is, like, I'll say right now, I don't think I'm that great at stand-up.
I think you're funny.
Think so?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. But me personally, I'm like, there are better people out there, but my Instagram is loud. Like, it is doing well. But sometimes people go, oh, that's just a yes. And I think that's not how it should be. The Instagram is kind of like putting a girl up. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, just because you have followers doesn't mean you're good. I know some people with a lot of followers. I've seen them on stage, and I'm like, damn, that was fucking bad. I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's definitely, I don't want to be that guy, is where I'm at with that. Because it's like, that's a terrible place to be. But if it gives you at-bats, maybe I should be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You have to create a value. Like the problem is women never they get told what it is and they never work on it. Just like they get told their pussy's good. You know, every guy thinks you got to earn good dick. You got to work out. You gotta, pussy girls just think they're born with good pussy. You know, and maybe it is so good. That's why we go for them when they're young. You know, they don't have to work on it and prove it.
I have a theory that people do that just because they don't know their own value yet. It's the same thing with value. I think that people do that because they're not gonna resist any sort of weirdness. They're just gonna be like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I think that's the main reason. It's easy to control, which is fucked. It is fucked, but I think that's the reason why people do that.
Do you how do you feel about this? You ever met a girl with an ugly face and a fat ass who gets attention and is more than comfortable showing her ass to get the attention rather than her face?
For sure. Same thing with breasts too.
You think that? Do you think that that's a big problem, or no?
The way I always to assess if it's a problem is I would do it with the same thing with a guy. So like a girl showing off her ass to do what again? Say it again.
She's ugly, but she gets acknowledged for her ass.
Right.
And then she uses that as her face.
So then the male version would be a guy who's ugly, but he's very powerful in some way or some form, and he uses that as his form of getting something.
Correct.
Is that fucked? That guy is doing that? Yes, I think that's fucked. So if that's the rationale with the guy, I have to assume the same with the girl. So yeah, I don't think it's good. No.
I feel bad like when a girl is just ugly and she'll just start showing ass, twerking, would rather be slapped on the ass than kissed on the cheek, where it's like that becomes her
identity.
Yeah. Like, I hate that.
I hate that because you could just fucking put a needle in that thing and pop the balloon.
Don't do that.
Just pop the balloon, be like, what are you worth now, huh? Now that's gone, you're nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people, most of the thing I always respect the most is just like, you know, are you good to have a conversation with? Like, that's a big thing. If you can talk and be cool, that's great. You're leagues ahead of the world. But if, like, people that make their whole identity some bullshit that they do, if it's a girl, you know, they make their identity their ass or their boobs. Some girls, they walk around with their tits up like this.
Yeah,
and all the time.
I mean, it sucks, yeah, all the time.
No, I love it too until you talk to them and you're like, God, you're fucking awful to be around. You know what I mean? It's almost like I was more willing to have sex with you when I didn't hear your voice.
Yeah.
But now that you're talking, you're actually ruining it. Like, my want to have sex with you meter was here, and as you're talking overnight, it goes all the way down.
I think there's one girl in particular that we've all had that same opinion about. It was like, God damn, how'd you ruin this?
Yeah. But, yeah, it's tough. But I think guys are the same. I mean, you know, there are guys out there who are handsome, and then you hear them talk, and it's like, that's fucking awful. Jesus Christ.
That sucks, yeah.
So, damn. Girls and guys, dude.
Guys and gals.
Damn. We're running out of gas. What else can we chat about?
I don't know. Yeah. Do you have like a time you're supposed to fill? You have sponsors?
No. This is all I started this podcast like 3 months ago.
You ever do repeat people, or is this the one-time thing you're not going to have me on again?
I do repeat, but I try to get a new person every week.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to have my first repeat guest here in like a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's that? No, don't tell me. Don't tell. You got to behind the paywall.
Okay,
You'll find out behind the paywall.
If you follow us on Patreon. No, but the goal with this was I live here. I play a lot of games. I work from home. I was very isolated.
Yeah.
And the goal with the podcast was I want to meet people.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, how do I do that? And this would seem like a good way of doing it while also still being in the comedy world, was starting a podcast. Yeah.
I like the idea of having a conversation you were already gonna have and then just recording it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we probably would have just done the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then now there's a chance for other people to see it. So.
Yeah. And just to get a perspective on just how somebody is in a very real way. I didn't want it to be like too comedy centric either.
No.
Sometimes podcasts like that kind of piss me off when people are just trying to say something funny every second, and it's like, can you just fucking have a real moment? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I have to work on too with my comedy, because I'm trying to change my style of how I do it. And the thing is, if we go somewhere, then we'll get somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't. Sometimes it's not just 15 seconds, you know, and then it's fun. But like if we get a minute, then we can get to where it's fun and funny for everybody.
Yes.
And it's like, how do you fucking accordionize that in the fucking 5 minutes when I feel like it's 30?
Right.
You know?
But I think it's important to build to that moment, though. Some people want it so quickly, so they do these cheap little quips, and it's like, yeah, but we've all heard the cheap one-liners. You know, you got to build a story and then have a kick into it that's so strong. I think that's a joke I respect, is like a good build and then the kick, because it makes it worth the wait.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what your whole sets are like. Yeah,
that's all I do, and I think I love it. I love it because I think that's what it should be. It's a trade-off. It's like, I'm giving you my time, make it good, and then when it is good, it's like, that was worth it. You know, but if you're just doing constant barrage, it's just like, I don't know, it's too much.
I'll have to see you do a set again, because that's what I noticed. You're really good at that, and in instances where I do that, most of the time, it's just more obtuse. It's just, I thought yours are just like wholesome, and they kind of just meet that criteria. That's what I'm saying. Like, your jokes, they all hit. That's the nature of comedy, just having you hit whenever you kind of do your shot.
Whenever you do the swing. Yeah.
Whenever you swing.
Yeah. Those are the ones I like. Like, I'm always criticizing Mark Normand as someone I kind of don't like, because he's too much. To him, it's just like constant, and it's just like, it gets tiring.
It does get tiring. Ari and Mark did sets a couple days ago, and people were wondering who actually did better. Based on, it was a fun philosophical discussion. Based on how many laughs Mark were getting versus the tights laughs that Ari Shaffir got. And I think the thing is that Ari Shaffir ended with one joke where I still remember now. And Mark Normand had
no jokes that you remember.
A few great jokes, but I just can't remember them.
I think that's why I always remember, my number one is Louis C.K. And when I think of Louis C.K., I think of this joke, that joke. And it's not really even the joke and the punchline. It's the premise and the idea of the joke that people go, you remember that bit he did about like the deer, or the bit he did about that? And people go, yeah, I do. That was a good bit. And they don't even remember the punchline of it. They just remember that it was so true. And that's where I feel like with Mark Normand, it's like, you'll laugh and it's funny, but when you look back, you're like, I can't even think of one joke. I can't think of one joke that he did. It was just it was just all so quick, and it wasn't emotional enough.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, how do you set up the context for Margin called her pussy fucking within just like a reasonable amount of time? I was like,
that was a good one. I was thinking that too. How would you even set that up as a joke? I think if you kind of set it up as the lineup as what we were talking about here, if you kind of set it up as women don't understand that they're creating an economy around pussy with OnlyFans, and then you start the metaphor light with economy around pussy, money around pussy, and then slowly turn it into margin calling pussy, then the metaphor got so extreme that it's like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, it kind of gets there.
Yeah, that was a fun one though. That I loved. Just that sentence was hilarious.
Yeah, we were both on the same page. It was like,
because we were dude, that's another reason why I love podcasting too, is because you'll be in this deep conversation talking about something pretty serious, and then someone will say something that's just so not that just like wakes you up to the whole thing. Like, wait, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah. No, yeah, that happens a lot. That's sick.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that would be a good one to build something around.
We'll see what happens. This is all good. Just good conversation.
Yeah. It was a good time. This was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you wanna call it?
I'm gonna have to. Yeah. We're gonna
all right.
have to call it.
Let's call it. Peace. Bye bye.
Peace.